That was fun. I just did a little sparring. Or shadow boxing. Actually kind of felt like sparring. Yeah, I didn't really plan to record right now. I just felt like hanging out here and then hit record. Jesus loves me. God worked through me. So I've been learning a lot on this trip. About alignment, about God, about discipline, and they're all connected and required for one another. The alignment comes from your words, your thoughts, and your actions agreeing with each other. And there's this theme of the Trinity, where the individual, the collective, and God are in alignment, mind, body, and spirit. Father, Son, Holy Ghost, or Spirit. And I'm trying to understand them all and how they relate to each other. What it is that our consciousness is not what it seems. It's not really that your conscious thoughts are responsible for your actions and that you have to think or will yourself to be better, to do better things. It's more there's more back and forth than that. Right? So, yes, your consciousness is the source of light, let's call it, right? Or direction. But if you assume that, then you put your own mind at the center of your universe, right? That's like, okay, the sun is our source of light. Is the sun the center of the universe? And what would our consciousness be in that metaphor? Would it be the sun? Maybe, right? And maybe God would be all the relationships, the source of all the molecules and chemical reactions, nuclear reactions that allow the sun to even have light. The sun doesn't have to concern itself with being the sun. It is simply what it is. And I think in that sense, we just need to be. Now, here comes the part about alignment. When you are being, the being that you are needs to be in alignment with God. What I'm not saying is that you have no responsibility. I'm not telling you, let's just walk and talk. I'm not saying that you don't have to try. That is kind of what I'm saying. So, if someone says, try not to think of a purple elephant, I'm sure you've all heard this example before, you're going to think of it. So in a way, trying is ineffective. It bears no fruits. alignment or being or focus is what allows you to, for example, focus on your breath or focus on your fingers in front of you. When you're focused on your fingers in front of you, that's all there is, and you don't have to try not to do anything or try to do anything. That infinitesimally present moment that we have, it almost requires no trying, because you are in that moment in which you are focused on your fingers. You simply are focused on your fingers. So in the same way, spiritually, we can align ourselves with God and embody the Spirit of Christ, and through presence and mindfulness, and those really mean the same thing, we can be more than we try to be. We can be something greater than ourselves. And your conscious mind, which is linked with your ego, is going to resist that. It's going to try and take control, because without making too many generalizations, we probably live in a world where the conscious mind is put out in front and set to lead, and we expect the body to follow, and we expect the spirit to, I don't know, that probably is a bit more individual, but try, and this is what I do and what's been helping me, try surrendering your mind, your thoughts. Things will come to you. I could have sat down and wrote a presentation about this, and maybe it would have been better. But I'm just here in this moment. And God is infinite. And if you move your own self out of the way, by self I don't mean your true self, your spirit. I mean the illusion of self, which is this intelligent, physical body which dies, right? The finite self, which is not really you, because that is predetermined, or I should say that is determined by circumstances, genetics, environment and circumstance, kind of the same thing. But what I mean by circumstance is more, I guess, luck, right? Again, same thing. So you want to move that illusionary self, that intellectual thinking, knowing self, and let the spirit overflow from you. And that is a process of surrender. The other thing is your body. Your body is going to fight you on a lot of these things. It's really pretty. Your body is conditioned in a certain way, and we have these instincts and habits and cycles and patterns. And eating, for example, and hunger. You eat, then you're full, you're satisfied, and then time goes on. Your hunger slowly starts to build until you have to eat again. And then this physical cycle continues. And what you'll end up finding is that your thought patterns, which you think are this conscious mind above physical reality, is actually very influenced by these physical patterns. So, for example, when you're hungry, you'll be thinking of food, and it might be hard to think of anything else, right? And when you're full, I don't know, you might be thinking how full you are. It might be hard to think of anything else. But when we can break past first, so the conscious, thoughtful mind, and second, the body, which is what we just laid out. What it means to put the body aside is to fast, to deny your sexual desires, to deny pleasures and comforts. And what that does is breaks you out of the cycle. And yes, at first, your body's gonna send signals and your conscious mind is going to be involved. And the two of them are gonna have to have this little dance that they have. What you need to do is focus and stay focused on your spirit, because eventually, let's say if you're fasting and you're abstaining, you're gonna have these sexual desires, you're gonna have these desires to eat, but eventually you will be able to overcome, or rather to move beyond those desires. The reason I say move beyond rather than overcome is because it's not a willful practice. It's not a forceful practice. At first, there might be a couple moments where you have to deny yourself. I would say that it's more of a process of focusing on the spirit, focusing on your breath, focusing on the moment, right? And through that, you can move past this layer where all there is temptation or desires or habitual thought loops, signals from your brain and your body, your stomach, right? When you move beyond those, you're able to connect to the spirit. And this is your true self. This is your infinite self. This is Christ. And when you live through Christ, you can elevate everything. You can elevate your life. And I don't mean the material, financial, kind of measured balance or gain or success, so it were, of life, the actual experience of life. And what you're going to get to experience is this free, beautiful, connected, spontaneous moment where the next moment is unknown, but it's not needed to be known. It's not a concern. You're completely enthralled with this infinite moment, and the moment truly is infinite. It's all we ever have. It's all we ever will have. Death, from the perspective of the conscious physical mind, from the perspective of the brain interpreting signals, death can never be experienced, right? So there's no such thing as any experience outside of the conscious experience of a singular present moment. And it's almost like if you draw a circle, the pencil is only ever on one point at a time, and it only ever can create an infinitesimally small point at a time. But time passes or progresses to form a circle, right? And so in totality, in looking at the entire picture, the whole, not bound by this construct that we've created of time moving forward or backwards, the circle always existed. and it always will exist, right? And this is more of a mental abstraction or creation or understanding of the nature of reality, because it truly is infinite. Your life, although it may be perceived to be finite because it has a start and a beginning, the circle has a start and a beginning, and yet when looked at from a greater perspective, or like an enlightened perspective, it has no start and no end, right? And so that's, in a sense, the nature of God, or the nature of the Spirit, or an understanding about life. And this will allow true, I don't want to use the word happiness, but presence. And presence is better than happiness, because even sadness can be enjoyable, as weird as that sounds. It's the thought of the sadness lasting forever that's kind of overwhelming or disheartening. I really do think that people, if they could pay for sadness, they would. And I think that's clear by the music that we listen to sometimes. When we put on, the sad songs playlist and just enjoy that emotional state, right? Hey, nice bike.
It's just me, thank you.
That guy's in the moment. There's that saying that it's about the journey and not the destination. But all there ever is the journey, right? The destination is part of the journey. The start is a part of the journey. Getting ready for the journey is part of the journey. And so there's this complete or circular or infinite way of looking at things. The death and rebirth, right? The fire and the phoenix, the falling and rising of the tides, the changing of the seasons. It seems like these events have a start and an end. Really, it's transition. And really, there is no transition, because these leaves, these fall leaves, are all that there is right now. And that's all that there is. Because now is all that there is. So there's no winter with respect to the fall. People probably think I'm crazy talking to myself. It's something I want to get used to. Anyway, so back to alignment. When you align yourself with God, you have access to this superpower. It's really like a divine source. Hello.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. It's really like a divine source. You have to choose it, in the sense that you have to surrender to it. You have to surrender to God, to Christ. And you have to surrender to love. Now, this is important. Love as an emotion is not the Valentine's thing. Love is a creationary force, and it's a sustaining energy. It's a divine gift that is given. And so to be loved is to have your soul uplifted, right? And so when we say that God is love, or that Jesus Christ is love and that he loves you, it's not that he wants to give you a hug and a kiss. It's that he literally is giving you life. And that true love is regardless of whether or not you want it. It's regardless of anything. It's infinite. It's always true. So that's why when you accept that love, and you'll feel it, right? You'll feel it and you'll realize that you've made it this far, and that's something greater than your intellect, because you can't control everything. That's something greater